Hello and welcome to Connected. On this edition, it's been a roller coaster ride for the RSPCA in Queensland over the last few months, and we discover what's caused the ups and downs. The battle is well and truly on in Brisbane radio, especially in the all-important breakfast time slot. But just how far will some go to win? Hinksy takes us on a train ride from yesteryear, and musically, Brisbane singer-songwriter Mick Danby previews one of the tracks from his forthcoming album, Portico. It's time to keep it local and get connected. Welcome to the program. Well, the Queensland branch of the RSPCA has certainly been in the news lately. From their popular desexing campaign to cupcakes on firemen, controversy over a local pound in Ipswich, to even a prime ministerial scandal. Well, Media and Communications Manager Michael Beatty, he takes it all in his stride and he joins us on the program. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, Damien.
It's been a very successful time for you of late, especially with the huge Cupcake Day response you had.
Well, they're just vital, those community fundraisers. We got Million Paws Walk and Cupcake Day, and they're absolutely vital to our survival. I mean, 99.95% of our funding comes from the actual community. So without those sort of fundraisers, we couldn't exist. Simple as that.
Yeah, of course, it made the news for the Cupcake Day in the mall because someone had the bright idea of putting some, what was it, peanut paste on some firemen and getting the puppies to enjoy themselves?
Guilty as charged, Your Honour.
It was your idea.
It was, and of course there were a few complaints, but by and large, certainly the young ladies who came down to the mall and witnessed it all, they weren't complaining, and it did help publicise the day.
Yeah.
And the firemen enjoyed it.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? And that's what it's all about. It's publicity for a good cause, and whatever, you know, if it works, great, and it worked.
Yeah, it did. Simple as that. And there were only a few people, and to be honest, most of them were male who actually had a whinge.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe something in that for next year.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Of course, it takes a lot of money to run facilities like the Wacol facility you've got. These, as you said, are vital, but you do a number of fundraisers throughout the year, don't you?
Yeah, we do. I mean, to be honest, I mean, the whole year is fundraising in one sense or the other, whether or not it's mail campaigns, which I know can often get people a bit sort of angsty about that because they keep receiving information about what's going on and also asking for funds as well. But then, of course, we got Million Paws Walk, which is a big community fundraiser. It's ongoing. I mean, we basically have to find just under 45 million a year to run the RSPCA in Queensland. And until recently, we only got 276,000 from the state government. The present government have upped that to 500,000.
Right.
So it's a lot of money to find, and you know, we've got nearly 4,000 volunteers, and without those volunteers and the 800 odd foster carers, we couldn't exist.
Yeah. One of the other things that hit the news just recently too was this prime ministerial chew toy, apparently. This is the Julia Gillard doll.
That was a day of my life that I'll never get back. I'll give you the background to it.
We can see them here, actually, there on the shelf there for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Bring you back the memories.
Yeah. I'll tell you the history to that. About 2.5 years ago, there were a whole heap of political dolls out. There were Tony Abbott dolls, there were Kim Beazley dolls, there were Bob Catter dolls, there were Julia Gillard dolls. And they're dolls, not chew toys.
Yeah, like a plush toy.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, we thought in our merchandise section we'd give a Tony Abbott doll a run, which, you know, well, there was Tony and his little budgie smugglers and what have you, and very large ears, and the Julia Gillard doll. So we stocked them both. All the Tony Abbotts had sold out, and about a week ago it is now, in the back of the warehouse, a well-meaning volunteer discovered a few Julia Gillard dolls that were left and put them on the shelves, but they were never in the dog chew section. They were never marketed as dog chew dolls. They were simply plush toys that were there sitting next to the t-shirts and the diaries and everything else that we sell as merchandise. But didn't that create a furore?
Certainly did, mate. And I'll tell you what, maybe it was a slow news day and, you know, some reporters just wanted to, you know, get a story up, perhaps. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I spoke to a lot of people on the phone. As soon as I explained everything, everyone was fine about it. But, yeah, I think it... not good. Yeah, as I say, a day of my life I won't get back.
Well, one of the most successful campaigns of late was, of course, the Desexify Your Pet. Let's take a look at the commercial.
Yes, I do like to, how you say, prowl the street at night. I've had many rendezvous, many liaisons. I like to jump the fence, maybe sneak in through the cat flap, and find some delicious bonbon, if you know what I mean.
Operation Wanted. I tell you what, I love the commercial. I'm sure some people didn't get it, but I did. I thought it was just very cute. And of course, even though the campaign's now officially over, I mean, it's any time of the year is a good time to desex your pet.
Oh, absolutely. And we really need people to do that. I mean, in all our shelters, we just get creamed with the number of dogs and cats that end up by coming in. And unfortunately, you know, particularly when you're looking at dogs, shall we say, we get a lot of the larger breeds, like the Bull Arab crosses, the Bull Mastiff crosses, and unfortunately it seems to be people who own those sort of dogs who don't seem to think about getting them desexed. And we just... if we get a small fluffy in, it's very easy to find that a home, that type of dog a home. But if we're constantly getting hammered with the larger breeds, although they're beautiful dogs, don't get me wrong, it's a lot harder to rehome them.
Just very quickly, we've only got about 30 seconds, but the Ipswich pound situation, you've got the contract there from the AWL to run that pound. Just very briefly, it was just a contract awarded by the Ipswich City Council, wasn't it?
Yes, the Animal Welfare League chose not to renew their contract and it went to tender. And we put in some very steep conditions, one of which is to build a completely new facility. So all in all, we believe it's going to be a win for the Ipswich community at large.
All right, mate, we look forward to watching the progress of that situation as well.
Okay, cheers, Damien.
Thank you so much for joining us. And you can find out more about how you can support the RSPCA or any information on the many upcoming fundraising events, visit rspcaqld.org.au. Still to come, music from Mick Danby, Hinksy rides a troop train from Queensland's war years, and the battle for radio ratings. That's next on Connected. Welcome back to Connected. Well, over the past few radio surveys, we've seen a major shift, especially in the all-important breakfast time slot. The once dubbed king, 612 ABC's Spencer Hansen, dropped to number 3. And the most top-rated show is Nova. But hot on their heels, of course, is 97.3, who gained nearly a full share point to come in second. So what are they doing to close the gap? Joining me from the 97.3 Brekkie team is Terry Hansen. How are you, mate?
That's a lot of responsibility, isn't it? It's all down to me.
I built it right up to you, mate.
Okay, yeah. Well, I've spoken to the boss and he said, get funnier now.
Yes.
He had get funnier then, but it's too late by then, isn't it, really?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mate, congratulations on the survey.
Thank you.
Coming up, I think you were third, moving up into the second position.
Oh, we've look, the last couple of years, chest beating, we've sat around number 1 for most of the time. The station's been there for some time. Radio shifts at different times. People take a twig to some sort of promotion, some sort of conversation, but we've been pretty solidly there. But I looked at the ratings and I thought that looks like second, but then I had a deeper look and said, that's second. If you really look behind them, we're sitting second.
Well, second is a good spot to be.
It is, yeah.
First is a bit better, but that's to come down the track.
It's a lot of pressure and far more free stuff to deal with than need every day. Yeah.
So what goes into making a top rating breakfast show?
A lot of work. Yeah, a lot of work.
Yeah.
I've worked in a lot of different performance styles. It's a really, really honest job. I know a lot of folk think that we have fun together, and we do have fun together. We knock off about 9, we go and have breakfast, and we all head home. But I'd be lucky to get clear of the studio by lunchtime on any day. We get kicking off around 3, and it's accumulation. I've always called breakfast radio relentless and accumulative. It comes from everywhere, and it doesn't stop coming. And your main thing to do is to pluck out those things which will be of most interest to your audience. And with our guys, we're talking about 25-54 is our wide target.
Yep.
A bit of a leaning towards women, and I like to say, and the blokes in their lives. Hi, fellas. It's Tez. How you going?
And speaking of the women, I'm just watching a little bit of vision here of you dressed as a. Is that a rabbit?
That's the Easter Playboy bunny, and I'm speaking to children, which wasn't good, but we got some papers signed. They were all okay with that, and the counselling's coming along. I think one of the great things we did, mainly through last year, was with our $1,000 minute quiz. We made it a boy-girl competition. That's been there for a while, but then we put a bit behind it. So yeah, I'm surprisingly, that I lost that challenge just coming on Easter, so I had to go down to Queen Street Mall and lower land values, basically, by handing out Easter eggs.
Mate, to be like me, I'd clear them all in 5 seconds flat.
You and I, if we can have some chocolates, we'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mate, it's been a long collaboration that you've had, the three of you, Robin, Bob and yourself. How long have you been together?
October 17th will be 10 years on air together.
Wow.
We've been going through that time. And I think through that time, Barry was just saying last week in an interview that my kids have grown up. The great thing about radio for me, I was a stand-up, travelling corporately. I've been able to be home while my kids have gone through the teenage years, and they've grown up on radio to a fair extent. We've gone right the way through to my daughter's driving lessons last year. Everyone's been through all the choices my kids have made along the way, and they've been happy enough to be spoken about in code every now and again, and hear about my hapless parenting as well.
Yeah, the competition is fierce though, especially in the breakfast slot, isn't it?
It is. I think that, look, we all have our own camp to a certain extent. Nova, Hit 105, they probably compete more realistically music-wise. We've just finished our high school reunion last Friday night out at Eaton's Hill, and that's just massive. And you can see the passion for the music because our folk they've got memories that go back to 80s to 90s, and they got to meet a lot of those guys again and relive those songs. And not just reliving songs, they're reliving time. So everyone is in their own market. There's a crossover, but the biggest competition is not to be heard, but it's to have people stay with you, to listen beyond the next song, beyond the next ad break. And I think with us, we get that through sharing with our audience. They have some cracker stories.
And it comes down to that you guys are just very real people on radio. There's no, putting on an act or anything else like that. It's just three friends getting in there and reliving those memories.
Yeah, and I very much have always said that it's a license, it's a privilege. I know it sounds sucky, but it is. It's a real privilege I'm going into being the family bloke for all family blokes in Brisbane. My experiences will be slightly different as I go along, but basically I want to say, is this what's happening in your life? It's happening in my life. Can you relate to this?
Yeah.
Well, here's what I've found out about it. Here's my opinion on it. What's your opinion on it? And that way, even though we're all in our own lovely boxes that we're paying our mortgage off for, we're part of a collective experience.
Yeah. What's been the wackiest thing you've had to do?
Apart from dressing up as a bunny
along
the way,
yes.
it's pretty so. I avoid anything that only has to go wrong once.
Right.
No parachuting. I think that's when you go. I think the red carpets, sometimes you've got to get people there.
Yep. I
managed to get Will Ferrell by virtue of being dressed as Ron Burgundy. And we got halfway through the interview. He said, "You're wearing no pants." I said, "I know, I got right into this." Some of the things you've got to do just to grab somebody. I think interviewing Jerry Halliwell while she was in the bath, and even though that was happening in another continent and only over the telephone, I couldn't help but blush.
You pictured?
I pictured like hell, television in my mind. Yeah. And then in the middle of the conversation, she's answering this, and it's rather strange. And I said, "Are you brushing your teeth while you're answering the question?" And then she gargled something, and I had to guess the song. But it was fantastic. But you can't plan for that.
What's been your most exciting moment? Apart from being on this show?
Apart from being on this show, well, in second place, you understand?
Yes, of course. Second place, coming back to that.
Look, we've got a couple of big community things have happened. The National Day of Action Against Bullying started with our show, and it was gazetted by the federal government, and it exists today, and all radio, all television sharing it now. But that's a very, very proud achievement along the way, and being a comedian who can pay for his kids to go through school and pay off a house.
Mate, it's always nice if you can make a living out of what you love doing.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
Yeah.
If it could happen a bit later in the morning, that'd be great too.
Well, let's make it from number 2 to number 1 on the next ratings.
I've been called number 2 before, and it's never pleasant.
Hey, great to have you join us on the program, and thank you so much. All the best to Robin and Bob as well.
I will do. Will you mind if I lie down and fall asleep on the
No,
sofa now?
please, because it is 8:30 at night now, so you'll need that nap. And we'll let Terry go to sleep, and while he's having a quick nap as well.
On that as well.
Thanks very much.
Knackered, yes.
It's very hard to keep this conversation going. Up next on Connected, Hinksy, who he knows well, rides a troop train from the Great War, and local singer-songwriter Mick Danby performs live in the studio. Stay with us. Back to Connected. Well, during World Wars I and II, rail transport was the main means of shipping service personnel and military equipment around the country. In fact, the rail network in Queensland was closest to the fighting. By the end of the war, hundreds of thousands of Australian and Allied soldiers and even enemy prisoners had travelled millions of kilometres on Australian trains. In August this year, the Queensland Pioneer Steam Railway Committee turned back the clock, reviving the troop trains of yesteryear, as Hinksy found out.
The Queensland Pioneer Steam Railway have turned back the clock to take you to a time when trains transported everything from food to animals to people.
This event today is to actually put on like a troop train.
The classic posters are up as the troop train leaves Bundamba Racecourse heading to Swanbank Railway Station to commemorate the railway's support of the military in World War I and World War II with an authentic locomotive.
It was built in the USA as part of the war relief effort during the Second World War.
The Ipswich Centenary of Anzac Committee showcased the troops of the era with original uniforms, drill displays and the historic way to transport troops.
We've got a mix of World War I and World War II vintage vehicles as well as memorabilia. We've tried to get as much of the essence of those war years in restored vehicles, and the level of work that goes into them, not just the locomotives and carriages, but all the trucks, the jeeps, the whole lot. The smallest detail has been made accounted for.
People came from all over southeast Queensland to share the experience of how a troop train supported the war effort.
The entire railway in today's operation has been run by volunteers. Every single person has come out today for the love of trains, to look after the steam engine, to celebrate our heritage of the First and Second World War, the contribution that our soldiers made, and also the contributions that vehicles made to that effort.
The Queensland Pioneer Steam Railway has regular events planned leaving from Bundamba Racecourse.
So the Steam Railway runs 2 times a month, generally on the 3rd Saturday and the 2nd Sunday. This ties in with our picnic train and also the markets at Bundamba Racecourse. We also operate a dining train. That will be coming online later this year using the old Sunlander coaches. And they've been a big restoration project and a labour of love of the group.
For more information on events with the Queensland Pioneer Steam Railway, go to qpsr.net. It's Hinksy for Connected.
A trip down memory lane for many, I would think. Thanks also to our cameraman on that story, Nicholas Roach. Well, Mick Danby resides and performs music throughout southeast Queensland. He spent the last 16 years performing in bands ranging from rock and punk to popular acoustic covers. His solo career is now in full flight and he's just about to launch his latest album, Portico. Mick joins us in the Connector studio. How are you, mate?
Good, thank you.
Look, congratulations, Portico. How long have you been working on this new album?
Oh, it's been going on for about 12 months now, a little bit over. Yeah, so it's one of those projects. It's taken its time, but I think you know, in taking our time with it, we've really captured the feel. So that was
So
amazing.
when you sit down to write an album, I mean, where does the inspiration come from?
It comes from all over the place, to be honest. Some songs I could write in a couple of minutes, and they'll be the best ones. But then others will take me months to write, and they don't turn out that well. So
Right.
I mean, but inspiration-wise, it could be anything from you know, a relationship to something that's happened, yeah, some kind of happening in my life, negative or positive, whichever
Yeah.
that may be. But yeah, I think there's a lot of inspiration out there for songwriters. So.
Wow. And do you just work solo or you work collaborative?
I do. I work mainly solo.
Yeah.
Every now and then I'll do a collaborative piece, new duos and bands and whatnot. Yeah.
Well, mate, it's fantastic to see this new album coming out. It is called Portico. When's it
Yes.
going to be out?
The release date should be mid-September. I'm guessing the 15th. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
It's all
well,
very exciting.
We'll keep our eyes peeled for it, but we're going to get a sneak preview now, aren't we?
Absolutely.
All right, well, let's. I'm going to let you guys set up. And today he's set to perform one of the original compositions called Rock Solid. Please welcome to Connected Kevin Brown on bass guitar and Mick Danby.
There's a calmness in this view as the world is happening around it. Untouched and still, like a painting that is real, as I sit and refine myself, as my mind travels far away. I'm finally at ease on this day. Well, the last few weeks have been hard, as many at some stage will understand. But I felt so alone with it all, and the guilt has been eating at my bones, my bones. Once the truth was revealed, there's a weight off my shoulders. I walk tall and proud again now, and even if the memory still smolders, I'll get on with my life as I should, and any little obstacle I'll boulder. Come what may, I am unmoved. I'm rock solid inside myself. I walk tall and proud again now, and even if the memory still smolders, I'll get on with my life as I should, and any little obstacle I boulder. Come what may, I am unmoved. I'm rock solid inside myself. Oh, one more time, I walk tall and proud again now, and even if the memory still smolders, I get on with my life as I should, and any little obstacle I boulder. Come what may, I am unmoved. I'm rock solid inside myself.
Very nice. Thank you very much for that.
you
That
very
was
much.
great.
Cheers.
And also to Kevin as well. unsung hero in the background there. Thank you so much. All right, now, of
Kevin
course,
Brown.
mate, website address for people if they want to get some more information?
Absolutely. www.mickdanbymusic.com.
All right, we look forward to seeing Portico released very shortly.
Perfect.
And thank you for joining us on Connected.
Thank you for having us. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And that's just about wraps up this edition of Connected. Make sure you check out the latest guide info and special online segments on our website, connectedtv.com.au, and interact with the show on our Facebook page. Until next time, stay connected and bye for now.